Welcome to Comunty Podcast. Lay back, relax, and enjoy tonight's episode. Hi and welcome to Comunty Podcast. Tonight I have with me
Dauga
and two guests,
Lars
and
Ishaan.
And today we're going to dive a bit deeper into the lore of the International Club, also known as ICA. So, yeah.
Welcome, guys. Thank you for joining us tonight. We're really excited to hear your opinion.
So on Wageningen's university's website, there's actually this long description that I just found. And I didn't even know that ICA is supposedly a student association. Did you guys know this?
International Club Association. Yeah, that's it.
But like, I thought that was just a name. Like, I didn't think it had like an actual association foundation, which we found out it does.
I think legally it is an association. And practically, is it really? I don't think so. And it's not anymore.
No, right? Like, I would think that you could be a member of this association as a student. Like, that's what a student association is to me.
But there's no membership as far as I know. Is there?
No, not exactly. So when in the beginning, I also wasn't aware that ICA stands for association.
Mm-hmm.
But when I started assisting there with DJing, that's when the manager there, she explained to us what ICA is. And then a lot of the things about ICA actually started to make sense regards to their funding and how they take care of the place. Because the way, from what I remember, is that a lot of the cities around the Netherlands had an international club association as a part of their whole student life. However, it slowly started to go out of funding and there wasn't enough money left to keep it running. So Wageningen is the only city that has an international club from the association that's left.
Oh,
so
wow.
the location itself is not owned by them. They're renting it as well.
You're listening to Community Podcast.
Community Podcast.
Community Podcast. I would like to read this description, and it starts off by saying that Wageningen stands a charming little farmhouse with yellow and red painted shutters, and that it transformed into this exotic party spot on the weekend, where both international Dutch students and also university employees can come by, and that it's founded in 1958 by Wageningen's University and the municipality of Wageningen, and that it was actually officially opened by the princess, which is called Beatrix.
What?
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
That's insane.
That's insane. What do you mean by the princess? Like, it's the ICA.
Yeah, and and also the description says that the International Club is one of the most popular places to go out on the weekend.
Yes, because it's the only place.
Yeah.
One of the only stable places.
But yeah, that it's a non-profit organization run by volunteers, that the board, DJs, there's bouncers, bartenders, and committee volunteers themselves, and they're all a mix of nationalities. So this is apparently written by a person because it says, I'm the only Dutch person working behind the bar. So I also didn't know that. But so Dutch people can also be part of this team, which is nice. But Ishaan, what is your experience kind of working there or like being member, or what is this relation that you have?
It's funny that you ask because I'm no longer a part of it.
Oh.
I very recently officially stopped being a part of it. For a long time, I was a sleeping member, kind of. A lot of it has to do with my experience there and how I felt working for the ICA.
You're listening to Community Podcast.
Community Podcast.
Community Podcast.
I think it would be unfair to say that it's a good or a bad place because there's a lot of good memories associated with it as well. As a student, I've met a lot of friends there. For me, ICA has always been a location that's there. I would go to meet my friends or maybe meet new people that also want to meet people, not necessarily to go and enjoy the music.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
the reason why I started going to the ICA in the first place. But then also as a DJ, I associate going out with good music and a good quality location and venue and everything. That's why for the first 2 years of my study here, I actually never went to the ICA. But then later on, when I started getting into DJing, I thought that one of the ways for me to practice playing for a crowd would be to play at the ICA.
So you became a DJ there?
Yeah. So about 3 years ago, I would say I started DJing. In the beginning, it was more as a hobby. I would do it for my friends in the corridor where I lived. There was about 20 of us. But then I thought it's time to upscale a bit, play for a bigger crowd, get a better experience. And I believe you already covered a bit last week about how it's difficult to find venues.
Yeah, indeed.
So I thought it would be good to start off with the ICA. And it was a big challenge in the beginning to be able to DJ at the ICA, actually, which I will get into in a bit as well.
Yeah.
But did you rent the space yourself and like organized your own thing, or you became a kind of an employee DJ of theirs that you would play there regularly on their normal nights?
No, so I became a volunteer, which is what they call all their bartenders and their DJs.
So is this also like how you're a member of the association, or is it like just volunteering? Like it doesn't have to be necessarily translated to kind of a member.
Yeah, I would say it's still called an association, but it doesn't exactly operate that way.
Okay.
So it's just the way they're still keeping the place alive, because the person that's managing the place, she has a very emotional connection with it, because she was once a part of that association, which is no longer active.
Okay.
So the name is still kept, the image is still of the association. However, it is it's operated as if it's a normal place. That's why the people working there are treated as volunteers with a fixed price and everything, but you don't need a membership for it.
Oh, okay. So if you work at the bar, you're actually getting paid like as a bartender, if you're at the security guard, all of this. So it's not so much member as it's your work there.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
You get a fixed amount of money. It's not that you get paid per hour. They basically, when you join, they tell you that we don't pay a lot because there's no entry for the students going to ICA. The only way they make money is their drinks. And since they're also renting the location, they have to pay for that.
Yeah.
So their idea is that we want to give something to the people working there. And for that reason, they give money to the bouncers and the bartender.
And next up, we will have a song for you guys.
Jah. Faith can move mountain. Faith can move mountain. Have faith. Faith can move mountain. In Jah.
Okay, we got a bit about the background and like what the international club is now, and that, well, we are not really members of it. You can volunteer, you can get kind of work there, and you can show up just with your work card. So Lars, I know that you maybe know a bit more about the background of what it is now. Could you explain that to us?
Yeah, sure. As far as I know, right now the person managing it does most of the things on her own. She has a small group of people around her, but she is mostly the one doing all the executive decisions, making it not so much of an association. They rent it out from the municipality for a symbolic amount of money each month, so that they can. The only thing that they have to do for it, to have that rent, is to keep the place up and keep the place in good shape, and also to fulfill that part of the community. You know, an international club is an important part of Wageningen, and municipality sponsors it in that way because it is quite important.
Yeah, indeed.
But then the venue itself is owned both by the university and the municipality, from what I understand.
As far as I know, it's just from the municipality.
Okay, and then just the association name or label is from the university then somehow. Because how is the university involved? That's where I get confused with
Yeah,
this
I'm also
description on their
curious.
website as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Because also, like Sabrina said, like you need to show your student ID when you enter as well. So I guess that has to have an association, because when you also independently organize events there, one of the conditions they ask you is it just for students?
But it's also curious to know that you have to have your student card there because the bouncers, as far as I know, are not always students as well.
Bouncers are definitely not students, I think.
Right.
From what I know, there were two main bouncers that used to work at the ICA. One of which still regularly works, and that's the person at the main door. But that's the person you would see at the main door every Friday. And then there was a person that used to manage the back door, but I believe they no longer work there, but they're still active in terms of being involved, or they're still present on Fridays. And the back door is also not used much anymore. It's not usually kept open. That's why there's only one bouncer.
The rest of them, like working at the bar, students and all the DJs, or do we actually also have DJs who are not students?
Basically, there's a pool of DJs that she has, and these are, from what I know, all students or were at some point students, maybe with one or two exceptions. But then they sign up to be DJs, or they reach out when they need DJs, and then the manager basically sends dates on the chats, and then whoever's available takes them.
All right.
And is there like a fixed genre you have to play, or a vibe you need to keep up? Like, what is the condition? Like, there are so many different types of DJs you can be.
Yeah. Definitely. I think it's nice to have a nice variety of different genres, right? Some people like techno in Wageningen. It's a big techno space. There's a lot of pop, there's a lot of dance music, a lot of reggaeton. But from what I know, majority of the DJs that play there, they only play Latin American music and reggaeton, which I think is a very nice genre to play. However, there's also a bias that when you are working at ICA, you're kind of required to play that music.
You're listening to Community Podcast.
Community Podcast.
Community Podcast. Community Podcast.
On their Instagram, they have this post, we're looking for DJs from the 26th of October. And they do say they prefer reggaeton, pop, Latin mixes. So probably it's their like way of doing this event on Fridays. They want this vibe. This is what they're going for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And also I experienced this when I started working there, because I was under the impression that, okay, it's an international space, so we're going to play international music. We're going to play some English music, some French music, some Spanish music, of course. But when I started playing music there, I was constantly told by the bouncers, etc., that they would come up to me in the middle of my set and expect me to start changing the music that I'm playing. And I felt like there's no sense of creative freedom sometimes, because as a DJ, I choose what I play. I like to take requests if I think they would go well with the crowd. However, if I play a little bit of tech house, certain people would come up to me and tell me to immediately change the song.
And it would be the bouncers coming to you, not the people actually dancing and the students.
Sometimes the bouncer, sometimes the manager, sometimes people at the bar, but they were told by the bouncers or the manager. Usually when the students come up, it's because they want to be selfish and they want to hear their song. So I get that.
Definitely.
So I also know, Ishaan, that you had maybe not so nice experience with ICA, since you are saying you're not a DJ there anymore. How come? What happened that made you maybe, not part of the crew anymore?
I would say it built up a lot over time, especially since my first interaction with the staff at ICA, because when I started going there as someone that just wants to go and party, I thought that it would be nice to DJ there. So I approached the manager, and then I remember walking up to her and I tried my best to be really sweet and nice. And I said, "Hi, are you available? Could I please have a talk with you? Are you free?" And then the response I got was, "What do you think? It's me. I'm always busy."
You're listening to Community Podcast.
Community podcast.
Community Podcast.
Just from the first interaction, I was under the impression that, okay, this is not somebody that's open to, listen. So then eventually I gave up because I was like, okay, my ego's too high for this. But then eventually I wanted to DJ, so I reached out again, and then eventually I managed to get into the pool of the DJs. And then the first time that I DJ'd there, the night was going quite well until maybe 3 o'clock, when somebody came up to me who was not a student. So a middle-aged person came up to me and asked me to play a song that I wasn't too keen on playing, because I looked it up and it had maybe 50 monthly listeners on Spotify. So I was like, okay, the crowd does not know this song. I don't want to play it. So I politely said, "Please write down your song on the piece of paper and we'll get back to it next time." But the person kept coming back, even started harassing my friends, and then also just started saying some things I don't want to say here. But then eventually, to prevent a fight that was going to break out between my friends and him, I decided to call the bouncer, which I thought was the right thing to do. So
Sounds good, yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely,
right?
yeah.
So then the bouncer took this person outside, and then already I was a bit confused because I thought, how did this person get in?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because they're quite strict with checking the student
They're
cards.
very strict. Very,
Yeah.
very strict.
So eventually I left, and then I thought the night went really well because I heard a lot of good reviews about it. And then when I tried to get another date to play at the ICA, I couldn't get one for the next month.
Oh, wow.
Because every time I would send a message, it would get ignored. So eventually I reached out to the manager in person. I said, "Oh, is there something that we need to talk about?" And then I was told that there was issues with the music, etc., and we need to meet up and discuss this, and that people weren't happy. So I explained the whole situation, and turns out this person was affiliated with some of the staff there, and because of that, they were let into the club. And then when the problem was caused, it was made out to be that the music wasn't good, but actually it was a personal conflict.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
And
see.
because of that, I felt not welcome to DJ anymore. This problem was resolved, but then multiple times that I tried to DJ there, I just didn't feel welcomed. And also I tried to recently organize my own event, and I sent a very sweet message to rent the space, which I believe a lot of people do.
Yeah.
But because maybe of my background there, and also because me requesting to play techno music, which is not appreciated there, I was completely ignored. The message was just
Okay.
not replied to. And then the first thing I did is a day later, I left the chat because I don't want to work somewhere you're not respected. as a
That's
DJ.
really interesting to hear, because I do know that people have before rented the space for their private birthday parties. And I've also been part of teams where we have rented the space and played our own music. So it's very strange to know that it's kind of depending on maybe who you are or what you do, that she will choose it. But as we know, it's also, as you said, it's emotional for her. So maybe also the people who keep coming or like are affiliated with her is also like a more emotional, personal reason, and kind of they want to protect the space to some extent. As you say, also we are the last one in the Netherlands that is like
Yeah.
an international association, which I didn't know actually.
You're listening to Community Podcast.
Community podcast.
Community Podcast.
Yeah, I one time organized a party there with a friend of mine, and we had a talk with the manager to see whether or not we could rent out the space. And it was also EDM, so techno-ish, drum and bass. And it really depends on whether the manager likes you or not, and whether or not it just feels like it's pretty random sometimes.
Well, you're not a student here anymore, but you did it during your student time.
Yes.
Okay. But now also, if you wanted to rent a space, I don't know how it is if you could rent a space. That's not a possibility.
She might make an exception,
Mhm.
but that's also it, just because we already know each other,
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
might make an exception for me.
But as we also know, as we discussed, it's not really a student association, so maybe it doesn't need to play by those rules. As we also discussed, that she's the one who still has the association. How it came to that point, we don't know. Because as an association would expect there maybe to be a board as well. There's no, and maybe...
Probably legally there is, because they should have one. But the question remains how active the other board members would be.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, and also how often the board changes or etc. Because in those student associations, you do have some strict kind of guidelines you need to follow. But I guess the whole space just feels like an exception in a lot of different aspects, like from the rent they pay to the people that kind of own it, run it.
To the opening times.
Exactly. Like also one of the really important things, Lars, you talked to us before about it, but maybe you would like to share.
I don't think there is an end time that they are allowed to open, or if they do have an end time, municipality doesn't care. It's in a pretty good place where not a lot of people have issues with the nuisance. So just because they're there, they can do anything they want. It feels like to me.
Yeah, which is like good for, I guess, people who do want to organize parties and who want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
It's a nice space to have. But then I think considering the space, the location, the hours, etc., then it should indeed be more accepting to other genres of music, to other students, to non-students, to organize things, because I think they also have to be aware that they're one of the only places
that we can do this.
And that it is a valuable space, but not to gatekeep it, but to share it with other people. I think that's also going to break their image that they've created.
Yeah,
so
which
far as
also,
well.
I mean, personally, I am not in love with this image. That's a reason that I don't go anymore also. It's the event that they do is not for me.
Yeah.
So let's say that. And that's kind of sad because it's a nice venue. So if I knew they were also going to do more different events, I would also be more curious to go again.
You're listening to Community Podcast. Community Podcast. Community Podcast.
I also feel like if you have a regular ICA night every Friday night, and then every Saturday or maybe even Thursdays you have a different night, it also doesn't break the image that they currently have. It just makes it broader. Like, for example, I understand
Exactly.
from the manager's point of view that you really want to have your own image as a place, but also you shouldn't gatekeep it, just like you said. So if you have a different day for other people, other genres, other crowds, other organizers, that would be lovely. And I don't think that would change the image too much.
But I mean, also, why do they need to have an image? It's a student association in brackets, because not really, but they don't have to. It's not a real club. It's not in that sense, it's supposed to be for the students, right? So if they every Friday did have this reggaeton kind of Hispanic kind of vibe, that's okay. But they don't have to be this only. It would be nice if they were it's a place that you go for certain things. You check on their Instagram, which they do post the events also. So that would be nice. And also I like the aspect that you can, as private person, a private student, whatever, rent it for your own birthday party. That's also nice.
Technically, in practicality, not exactly the case, but technically you could. But then also they have this stabilized image on Friday nights anyway. Like you said, I was actually asking Sabrina today, can you even rent it on a Thursday? Are they...
You
Is
can.
that an Yeah?
You can. And also
Yeah.
I do know that the closing time is not, as you said, it's not a specific closing time. It really depends on a lot of factors. So there's a lot about ICA that in general we don't really have certain answers to, but there's a lot of opportunities there also.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, a large part of it is just it's a gray area because there's
Yeah.
no guidelines. So
Yeah.
a lot of associations sometimes they want to host an event. I last year I DJ'd for an association that wanted to do their gala in Ceres, but then things fell apart last minute, so they had to host it at ICA. So that was on a weekday, on a Thursday. And from what I know, they're not keen on the idea of hosting events outside of Friday. They are open to it, but it's really difficult to have an event organized on a Saturday or a Thursday.
I think we're going to some music.
The next song is by Tinarwen, one of the most famous Tuareg bands. Tuareg band is also known as the Desert Blues. And this song is called Sextant Troyes. It's in the album Idrake, Trace of the Past.
Santarwa dahon tilka dishilanit lanin timtar tarwa dahon tilka dishilanit lanin timtar مغاران لليا ديوان رسدي رجوان أرنا قيوان سنترو دهون تلكام جيشي لنيت لا ننتمتار تجي أمريك تجي لبنان جنة الدروس إيفي ورغان سانتر واجهن تلكان يشي لنت لا ننتمتار تستند شتمه اللان وريش الشيخ ولا تلان صندر واجهن تلكان يشي لنت لا ننتمتار نسترها تقوى هلال ترس دومان دوما سدران سنتر وجهن تلكان يشي لنت لا ننتمتار سانتر واجهن تلكان يشي لنت لا ننتمتار سانتر ودهن تلكان يشي لنت لا ننتمتار
Check.
Yeah.
We're back.
So we talked a bit about this gray area, kind of when we want to rent it or if you want to be there. And like, there's a lot of questions about how do we get through to this venue? Because a lot of people in Wageningen do want to host events and specific events such as techno. And maybe also the reason that she doesn't want these kind of events is because she knows the crowd now, she knows the event. This is how she knows she can keep it alive as well, right?
Yeah, I agree. In her mind, this is how she's dealing with the situation, because it's not, her priority is not to make sure that the place is the best club in Wageningen. It's just that the place stays alive as a gesture for what it once was. But if you look at it from a different perspective, as a student, it's not. It's just as good as not existing at that point, because the reputation is getting worse and worse. And the new people, that I think it's most lively in the beginning of the year when there's a lot of
Definitely.
new people and they want to try out this new club in Wageningen, the only place where you can go out on a Friday. And very soon it starts to die out.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember a conversation between some friends, and they were like, "Oh, it's like the first week; it's gonna be full. Let's go!" Like, because after a while, I think
Yeah.
quite a short while, it does indeed fade out.
Best time to go.
Yeah, the only time to
The
go.
only
To be fair, Wageningen is a pretty quick place. You have a lot of, throughput, a lot of people coming, a lot of people going, a lot of things happening. Quite a progressive municipality if you think about it. And yeah, the ICA doesn't feel like it does something new every month, every week, every year. So you know what it is. You know what a Friday night there is. So you know when you want to go there. It doesn't grow besides that.
Yeah, I would say if for me it's always been okay. If there's nothing else to do, you go to the ICA, you meet people that you know are going to be there, and then you just make the best of what there is.
Yeah,
And,
indeed.
it
But that's
does work
also
for some
comes
people.
down to if you go with the crowd, it will always be nice for you if you make the party yourself, you know?
You're listening to Community Podcast.
Community Podcast.
Community Podcast.
But yeah, it would be nice to kind of have IC as a venue to rent out no matter what kind of space you wanted. But there is not. And this is also something we discussed last time. And this is actually also why we have Lars with us today, because he is doing this initiative to kind of address this problem of no venues around in Wageningen. And maybe you could explain a bit more about it.
I would love to, thank you. I'm part of the Wageningen Culture Collective. It is a group of youth in Wageningen who started last winter. They made a manifesto saying that there lacks a place for youth in Wageningen, students, non-student, internationals, Dutchies, a place to just meet, get together, party, and especially at night. Because culturally, Wageningen is pretty rich, especially during the day, also for youth. But after 10 p.m., there's barely anything to do. And you guys are all students. Imagine growing up in Wageningen as a non-student. It just doesn't, there's just no space to do something, to organize something, to have fun at night. So that's when they started the Wageningen Culture Collective, made the manifesto, went to the municipality. Municipality unanimously agreed that a place like this was necessary. And since then, we've been working, trying to collaborate with different partners with the municipality to have a space. And yeah, that's where we're at right now.
You're listening to Community Podcast.
Community Podcast.
Community Podcast.
Where do you want to go? Like, is there something set now? You had a manifesto, right? What was part of it?
It basically said Wageningen needs to have a place for youth to go out at night, to do things at night. Do we agree on that? Yes or no? And they unanimously voted for yes. And after that, probably some things happened within the municipality, but practically nothing happened. Like, we are still not able to go anywhere, but the ICA or the bunker.
And
or
how long ago was this manifesto?
It was at the end of December 2024. That's last year. Yeah.
Okay, so a year ago.
Yes.
Yeah, and you mentioned something that you're gonna do another manifesto now as well, or
Yeah. So last week we sat together again and we decided that it had been enough. So now we are trying to try a new option, and that option is a little bit more intense. It's going to be a little bit bigger, and it's going to start in January, and it's going to be monthly protest raves in order to, eventually get a new space. And until we get a new space, we'll just protest every month, which is completely legal in the Netherlands. You are allowed to have music, and you are allowed to do it within earshot of the people you're trying to target, aka where we probably are able to do it just on the market. Big speakers,
Amazing.
just some dancing, you
Yeah.
know?
That's super
Municipality
nice.
rave.
It
Yeah.
sounds,
Could be nice.
it
Really
does sound
nice.
like it would be effective, because if you're at the market, once a month doing this, like, you will be disturbing their peace. And I think that's super important with protests, to kind of get your message
And
through.
I think it's also like you rave and party for a cause, which I think also brings in a lot of more passion and excitement to it as well.
Yeah, I don't want to
Yeah.
protest in like a very angry way, or to
No.
like disturb people. Yes, of course, the music is going to disturb people, but we're not going to do it at 4 a.m. We try to bring people together. It's going to be lovely for the community. People are coming together and dance. That's what we are all
Exactly.
about.
And to show that like this is what we are craving, and also to do it in a peaceful manner, and to say that like if you would give us the space, we're also going to continue doing this in a more organized and closed manner as well.
Exactly. That's the plan right now.
You're listening to Community Podcast.
Community Podcast.
Community Podcast.
You're kind of fighting also for an existing space, or you want to create something new? Because I don't know really what's the scene is in Wageningen. I know that you're placed somewhere now that you kind of can use.
Yeah, right now we have a working space at the Cultuurwerkplaats. Cultuurwerkplaats is a very nice place where many initiatives can work there, or host workshops, or have meetups, things like that, until 10 p.m. I'm very grateful that we can go there. We have a space now thanks to the library, so that's wonderful. We are not able to host a party there because, of course, it's closing down at 10 p.m. and it's not fit for a party. What we're looking for is a new place in Wageningen. We're not looking to overtake any existing places, because Wageningen just needs to be richer. Wageningen needs to have more. And if you add another venue to it, or another place where a lot of people can just come in, organize something, or contribute, or learn something new, that would be awesome.
Definitely.
But also I know that the bunker is somewhere that you can have a party, right? You do host events there sometimes. But
Ye-
is there, what are the limits with this?
I have personally never organized something there. I am collaborating at a party coming Thursday, or last Thursday, when this podcast comes out. But I haven't talked with the board or anything yet, personally myself. The only downside that I can think of right away is that it is for students only.
Okay. But I actually don't know, is the bunker a student association thing as well? Or
Mhm.
what
Yeah.
what are they?
Yeah.
Like fully
Yeah.
just a student association by themselves, like the bunker? Or is it affiliated with someone?
I think it's affiliated with another student association.
No, actually, so the way Bunker works, the Bunker is also an association, and the Bunker has a board.
Oh.
So the people that work behind the bar are all in the board of the Bunker, and they don't necessarily get paid as bartenders. They get their FOS, which is the money that you would get as a board of a study or a student association. So
Yeah.
because I've done a lot of events at the Bunker, also being in the board before of my study association, I know that there's a way to reserve the Bunker for your own events. It's possible, but then you have to pay a certain amount of money to rent the place. That's how it works. But it's the issue with the Bunker is Dijkgraaf, because the Bunker has a lot of times over the last few years almost been shut down because of the noise complaints.
Just like Annie's pub.
Yeah, exactly. Same story with Hoevestein. But somehow at the moment it's still going. But I know Veste and a few other student authorities in our university are working towards keeping these places alive, because there's no other venues for them,
Yeah.
right? Especially the Dutch community. So the Bunker is also an association.
Okay, because I was just thinking how it's different from ICA, but that's interesting to know that this is actually kind of the thing
Yeah.
that ICA should have been also, with the board maybe and students going for it.
Exactly.
But at least you can also rent the space, right?
Yes.
For now. I think it's time for
We're
the next
gonna now
song.
dig into a bit more the techno and the electronic world. Here we have Steve Rackman, one of the most respected voices in techno music. In this beautiful EP, Tirna Nog, which was released in 2000 by Rotation Records, we're gonna listen the A-side called Tirna Nog.
Okay, we're back. So,
No.
Now we're back.
yeah. Okay, we're back. So, we've talked a bit about like ICA as the only nice venue, but then we just got into the bunker actually. So we can also rent this place, but the problem with it is that they like are open at specific times during the week, right? So there's so many students who always complain.
Yeah, the Tuesday nights are a classic for the bunker, but I can also imagine, living in Dijkgraaf on the first floor and having music every Tuesday till 3 a.m. I do understand that side of it.
No, definitely. I think it's definitely annoying if you have to wake up the next day.
If only there were like other places where we could organize things.
If only.
If only.
But I also know that now the volume is not being played super loud, right?
Yeah. From compared to I would say half a year ago when I used to play before, I had a little bit more control over the master volume, and I would try to somehow sneakily increase it. But now every time I try to increase the volume even a little bit, I'm told off by the staff there, and they tell me that I have to lower it because there's just too many noise complaints. People at Dijkgraaf don't necessarily like super loud music late at night, which makes sense.
Yeah.
So perhaps one of the things that can be done to improve that situation is to make it more soundproof.
Yeah, because if you continue like this, it's not really a nightclub. You can't really go dance there. You're just more standing there with a beer in your hand, trying to talk to your friend, but the music is too loud to talk over, but it's not loud enough to actually feel it and to dance. It's like kind of in that awkward zone,
Yeah, it's an awkward state.
So then you go to the smoking area to like talk with your friends, and then the only thing you're doing is drinking beer and smoking ciggies. So, it's...
It's strange. But also, because I just got this information, it's part of Idealis. So actually it's not like, it's part of the building. They live there and they have this bar venue kind of thing. And they just didn't plan well enough for it to be like functional enough.
Well, so you also in other flat pubs, you had Woesthoeve and Hoevestein and Annie's pub in Assenpark, which closed down, RIP Annie's. And they started with Annie's to close it down because there was indeed too much nuisance towards the people living there. And then they also made plans. I think this was 2 years ago by now. And then they started to make plans to also close down the other two. Because, yes, it is part of Idealis. And Idealis' function is to house people, not necessarily to have a pub or anything. So I understand that from their perspective. However, a nice meeting space like that is lacking. And just building another common room doesn't really cut it.
No, definitely not.
You're listening to Community Podcast.
Community Podcast.
Community Podcast. Community Podcast.
But I feel that's a conversation that's been had a lot over the past 2 years. But yeah, right now, the bunker isn't really the place to go out anymore. ICA maybe isn't either.
I mean, it's not a place I think about at all. For me, in my eyes, it's just a bar. Like, it's just a bar. And I do think it's also mainly directed to Dutch students as well, because of also the different study and student associations hosting parties and events there. So, yeah, it's hard to think of a place. Yeah.
The purpose of the bunker is essentially right now just to host board changes
Yeah.
for study associations.
Which is great, Yeah. It's great that we got a space to do that.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
There needs to be a space for that as well. At the same time, if someone is going to host their own event at, let's say, an international techno or dance night event at the bunker, it would be hard to promote it to international students because they don't associate the bunker with international music.
Yeah, but it's the same with the ICA. I think also ICA is not associated with techno or other genres of music. And then it's hard to make people think, oh, hey, we're doing this party in a different genre. And when they think of ICA, they directly think of another type of music. So all these associations we have with these places also make it hard for something new to come in, I guess.
Yeah.
And that's why we need a new venue in Wageningen.
Brand new venue with no associations.
Wageningen Culture Collective, guys. Every Wednesday night we sit together. If you want to come by, have a drink, have a chat, learn something. We give a lot of workshops. But also if you would like to contribute in any way, shape, or form by either swinging by and helping to make decorations, or would like to host a workshop, or just do something for nightlife in Wageningen, swing by.
Yeah. And you have your Instagram as well, where you post your events.
Instagram, _culture collective.
You're listening to Community Podcast.
Community Podcast.
Community Podcast.
But then this space you have, you said you can host workshops. Could you also host like a listening session during the day, not during the night? Like, do you have a sound system there?
Maybe we already have one, but we're working on having a small sound system there, yes. One of our members, Sancho, the guy who made Miniculture, the guy who made Stichting Nachtdier, and the original founder of Techno Breakfast, is trying to make this a weekly thing, to just have a person playing a small DJ set. Not too loud, but just as a nice listening experience, to have a deep dive into a certain genre, to have conversations about that.
Interesting. You said he also did Miniculture. This is just like a side note. But who is this guy?
Sancho. He helped found Miniculture. He helped to found what do you call it? Do you call it help found?
Yeah.
Well, he also started Stichting Nachtdier, which was a foundation in like the 2010s to organize raves, and it was a pretty big thing back in the day. And also the original Techno Breakfast. You know, everyone and their grandmother hosts a Techno Breakfast now, but the OG is made by.
But
by
he's
this man.
like just a Wageningen person. Like, he lives here, he works here, and then he's very into this kind of nightlife and techno. So he created all these things.
Yep.
Cool. I actually didn't know that like Miniculture was not made by students. I thought it was.
He was a student.
He was a student.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
he started it as a student.
Yep.
And now he's just kind of
Grown out of it. He's a working man, but he's still part
Crazy.
of the collective. So that's cool.
That's
Okay,
nice.
nice,
Yeah.
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 like, this is also kind of the mission of your collective now, right? Like, to bring these things in and like start some new stuff that will kind of keep going also.
We just want to let people dream, let people try out new things, let people learn things, let people meet each other, and especially meet new music or deep dive into certain types of music. But also, if you would like to, for example, learn how to sieve print. Is that a word? Sieve
Yeah,
print?
yeah.
We're also trying to get that going at the Cultuurwerkplaats. So just all kinds of cultural initiatives, cultural people are very welcome to do whatever they'd like here. We eventually, not if, but when we eventually have a space, we also want it to not be ours. It's going to be from everyone of the community, you know, anyone who would like to organize something, who would like to host something, please swing by, you know, it's not our.
Yeah, it should belong to everyone.
Yeah.
It should
Yeah.
not be we should not gatekeep it
Exactly.
like some other places are doing it. Definitely. And I think then your mission aligns well with our mission as well, because what you're trying to do is quite amazing, to create this cultural space for people, for students. And what we're trying to do is to inform people about this and to make them aware that this is happening, that this is existing. So to have your sessions on Wednesdays, I think to have it in a routine, it's super valuable as well. People to know where to go, what to look for. And every week you're doing something else. But I'm really also into this listening sessions idea of also introducing new genres of music, not in a party setting, but more in a chill environment where people can also come, do their art maybe on the side, read or talk and have a drink. And still, you learn something. It's like going and watching a new movie. You get introduced to a new genre, etc. So super valuable what you're doing, definitely.
So on Wednesday, you'll have an event. So let's say this Wednesday, but also next Wednesday, in case people hear this on Friday, you'll have like some kind of listening, like you already know now, or it's just going to be on your Instagram whenever something comes up.
So the Wednesdays are for, we call it open culture sessions now. So we either have like last week, we've had a workshop from someone who came from Spectrum and someone who came from Solides to tell us about how money works and how to raise funds and ask for subsidies for cultural events, which is a very useful and broad thing that you can not only use in the Wageningen Culture Collective, but also
Future, like wherever you go,
for
whatever
example,
you do.
if you want money for your podcast, for example, or on some Wednesdays, we learn something on this Wednesday, which is going to be last Wednesday, whenever this airs. We will go to Ada to actually perform a pitch for money. So there's a pitching event in Ada
if people out there are listening to this and they would like to actually be part of this is something they just contact you about and be like, okay, I can do this. So if you'd like to do the event, I can do this for you guys.
Yeah, exactly. Just reach out, see what we can do.
And this is like something you can also do like any days, every day, anytime, like 9 a.m. in the morning on a Tuesday if you'd like to do an event there, like the venue you have now, right? Or it's
yeah, pretty much. Good.
Yeah, and I think it's nice to have everyone's input because we are all people living in the city, experiencing the nightlife of the city, experiencing what's there and experiencing what's missing. So it's nice to have these conversations. I think from every coffee you have with someone, every conversation, you take something new.
You're listening to Community Podcast.
Community Podcast.
Community Podcast.
For the music, we have Hey Wete by Tesfa Marian Kidane, an Ethiopian artist who left to study music in the States and grew to be one of the most remarkable stylists of his generation.
like to tell you that you can communicate with us or discuss this topic with us. If you have anything you would like to comment on, we would also love to hear it on on our Instagram, which is community-podcast, which is spelled COMUNTY. And this radio podcast will be broadcasted at RTV Rijnstreek. It was super nice to have our guests, so I would like to say thanks to Lars and Ishaan tonight.
Yes, guys, thank you for making the time.
My pleasure to be here.
Yes.
Hope you enjoyed it.
The pleasure is mine.
The pleasure is ours, actually.
Yeah, indeed.
It's a collective thing, isn't it?
Exactly. We are here as a collective.
As a community.
As a community. Exactly. And we can end it on that note.
Yeah.
I think we should, yeah.
Yeah.
Yippee!